So yeah, today is the second day of arrival. Second day after my arrival. Hi everyone, how you guys doing? Hope you are all doing great. So yeah, good morning from here, and good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this video. So hope you guys are doing good. So welcome back again to another episode of Rita's Diaries channel, and as you all know, it's a follow-up video. Today's the second day after my arrival, and what I intend to do is I'll be going out for the first activity today, and I intend to carry you all along. So this is just me getting ready for the first activity today. So remember I said in my first video that for each day I've got like 2 activities. So this is the first one, and I'll be taking you guys along, so just stay tuned. Going to catch my bus. Now I'm seated in the bus taking me to Queensferry boat trip, and I really can't wait to get there because I've read so much about it. Just like everyone would do whenever you're going for a trip, the first thing you normally would do going to a place you've never been before is at least going to your Google map to check, make inquiries, and then view pictures, because there will always be pictures there for you to view. Make sure that you at least make your own personal research. So that was exactly what I did.
Straight down. So see the sign on the side? It says boat trip. Just walk straight down the hill.
Cheers, thank you.
At this point, lovelies, we've arrived at a place that leads to
Enjoy the history of this island because it is packed with loads of history. I mean, a lot. All right, my lovelies. For those of us that are fascinated by history, this is just the right place for you to grab that knowledge. All right, wow. Catch ya.
The pier, I'm going to play a very important safety announcement. Thank you.
In the very unlikely event of an emergency, you will hear 7 long blasts from the ship's horn. Simply return to your seats and remain calm. Wait then for any further instructions to be given. That's 7 long blasts of the ship's horn. Return to your seats and wait on further fore and aft decks of the ship. But never forget, we are on water, and even on the calmest of days the boat may move up or down or sideways, and it's never when you expect it. You will find toilets at the back of this ship as you visit the bell bar. The bell bar is located below decks, downstairs towards the rear of our ship. There is a selection of snacks with hot and cold drinks available, and you will pass the toilets on your left and right on your way down to the bell bar. These bridges link the north of Scotland to the south of Scotland and England, perhaps bookmark buildings in the history of the world. The 19th century can be marked by the Forth Rail Bridge, the Red Cantilever Bridge, built before cars and aircraft existed during the reign of Queen Victoria. It opened in 1890. Around the same time, Rudolf Diesel invented the diesel engine. Shredded wheat was the furnace developed and X-rays discovered. Scotland was then the second richest nation on earth. The Forth Rail Bridge, the red one, was inscribed as a World Heritage Site by the United Nations body UNESCO, so it now enjoys the same status as the Taj Mahal and the Great Wall of China. And with the ever-increasing popularity of cars, the Silver Bridge, the Forth Road Bridge, marks the 20th century. Queen Elizabeth II opened the Forth Road Bridge less than 2 years after the assassination of American President John F. Kennedy. The very same year that Philips introduced the music cassette, chemotherapy was first used to treat cancer, and Beatlemania was taking the world by storm with All My Loving and I Wanna Hold Your Hand. Now, the Red Forth Rail Bridge was built at a cost of £3 million. The Silver Forth Road Bridge was built for £11.5 million 74 years later.
Wow.
Now, here in the 21st century, a further 50 plus years later, the Queensferry crossing is the newest addition to the scenery. A concept built with a 21st century budget of around £1.5 billion, not million, £1.5 billion.
Oh, hello again. Let me explain where we're going and what we're going to see. The first place, Inchgarvey Island, over the left-hand side. I'm going to spin the boat just front of this island. Then I'm going to pass Hand Point oil terminal on the south side. Then I'm going to cross the channel. We go around Inchcombe Island. We're not stopping on the island today. After the island, we spend a couple of minutes for search for puffins and seals, and the way back under the bridges and go.
He'd taken control of Edinburgh. He was advancing his troops throughout Scotland. He was aiming for Stirling Castle. He already had Tantallon Castle at Dunbar, Blackness Castle upstream, and Inchgarvey Castle here he took on the 17th day of July, 1651. At this point in the river, in the space of 2 days, over 4,000 English troops crossed to North Queensferry in little boats, and then they all became embroiled in the Battle of Inverkeithing. But lying silent in the cold, eerie darkness. The year is 1914. The captain is Lieutenant Otto Eriksen. This U-boat is U-21. U-21 was the first U-boat ever to enter the Irish Sea, the first to enter the Mediterranean, the first ever to refuel at sea, and also the first to get this far up the river without being detected. Up on the cliff beside the Red Forth Rail Bridge, she was sailing out of the Forth, bearing south-southeast out past the Isle of May, heading down the coast. I'm pretty sure that as you look around, you can now understand why this area is probably the most unique and iconic in Scotland. This river and estuary, it's home to such a huge diversity of marine wildlife. And down on the seabed, a rich natural world. Marine biology and botany. And for Charles Darwin, this area was the starting point in his epic worldwide journey to discovering on the origin of the species. Charles wasn't the only one. Another very famous naturalist came from a little way further downstream, in the small fishing town of Dunbar. Very probably Canadians and Americans aboard, you will know the name, John Muir. This was a man who saved many areas of natural beauty from the curse of mankind itself. Places such as Yosemite National Park in the United States. He more or less created the national park system. Rather ugly. However, this is the midpoint in a very long journey from deep within the earth for Scotland's black gold. The Forties blend, its oil. It's extracted and collected from over 50 platforms in the Forties field way out in the North Sea. It's then piped along the seabed to here. This is Hand Point. And from here at Hand Point, supertankers, they take on loads of at least Now, if you do like historic homes and castles of the aristocracy, then this area of the Forth is literally a treasure trove for you. If you'd like a party or a wedding venue with a difference, take a look over to Barnbougle Castle. You'll see it, there it is. It's over on the shore, standing on its own, on the beach. An ideal getaway location. And it was. Harry Potter fans will know Professor Minerva McGonagall, in real life actress Maggie Smith, as she played the lead role in The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie as well, and this was her weekend hideaway in the film. Now, Barnbougle Castle is 13th century. It was built by the Mowbray family, and with the rest of the Dalmeny estate, it's been owned by the Primrose family since the 1600s. A family with many royal connections. If you would like to see it, or indeed Barnbougle a bit closer, if you've got time, you can walk. It's right along the beach from Hawes Pier, and I promise you will not be disappointed. Now, all families, well, they all have a little bit of scandal in their past, don't they? Skeletons in the cupboard. Not married to his girlfriend Hannah, and that was the problem. Hannah's family weren't too pleased either. without a circle of people, but she did. I'll give you her full name now. In this world without your mobile phone? No, you can't possibly, can you? Your computer, the internet, absolutely devastating. How could we possibly live? But these essentials, they would not exist or work today without the algorithm, the logarithm, and the decimal point system. All things used to make very large calculations very quickly and very easily, but it's not new technology.
Very good news for everyone who's waiting for seals. I just found a group of seals on the red navigation buoy straight ahead. I approach a little bit closer, we slow down, and I give you a chance to make lovely pictures.
He was the world's very first millionaire. We know that because he invented that word himself. For centuries, our money used to be made from precious metals. £1 sterling meant £1 in weight of sterling silver. And then from that, 240 smaller coins were made, and they were called sterlings. Wow. Money was heavy. Money was expensive to make. I mean, it was silver. John's solution was to introduce paper money. Now, the one particular German submarine, it changed the course of history. It was a real game. Mainly, increased torpedo propulsion meant that they could now be used effectively by submarines. Ships could no longer outrun the torpedoes. It also meant that subs didn't need to come to the surface to use guns. There now was not much need for guns. U-Boat 20.
Oh, the building over the left hand side, that's Inchcombe Abbey. I make a quick spin, and if you look over the right hand side on the rocks, you found some group of seals as well.
But the main feature here, of course, is the magnificent Augustinian Abbey, Scotland's most complete example of a monastic house. In former times, and perhaps partly due to its dedication to Columba, the island was nicknamed Iona of the East. The well-preserved abbey and ruins of the 9th century hermit's cell do attract visitors to the island, and some of the visitors even get married here. They say that this island has been used in the past by hermits and also as a prison. But Inchcombe, throughout the centuries, is another of the Forth's islands that became fortified to prevent the various docks further upriver from being attacked. Can you see the red and white lighthouse out in the water, the Oxcar's Light? This beacon was another of the hundreds built by Scotland's famous lighthouse family, the Stevensons. You'll probably all know the famous grandson in the Stevenson family. The author of Treasure Island, Robert Louis Stevenson. The General Lighthouse Fund raises around £80 million every year, very simply, by charging a levy of 39p. You may notice the red and white lighthouse out at sea. We call that the Oxcar's Light. You've all probably heard the name Robert Louis Stevenson. He was the great Scottish author of Treasure Island. Now he was very, very famous, and actually, so was his family and generation in front of him. They were engineers. And I call them the Lighthouse family because it was Robert Louis Stevenson's father and uncle who built the vast majority of the lighthouses around Britain's coastline, including the Oxcar's Light. Today we do have many awful offshore wind farms, oil facilities, and these are all places that need indicators such as lighthouses and beacons for safety at sea. Now you would think that the government would pay for all the lighthouses, but that's not actually the case. It's a strange thing. What we do have is the General Lighthouse Fund, and it gets its money by charging a levy to every ship that enters UK waters. Currently the charge stands at 37.5 pence per. From the month of March, the clowns of the sea, they arrive. We all know them better as puffins. These tiny birds live in the burrows along the cliff tops of the island, just like rabbits. And the puffins come here to breed because of an ointment. That's why it was welcomed onto the islands in the first place. Nowadays, though, it's taken over so much that it's going into the burrows where the puffins live. So every year, Operation Tree Mallow happens, and that's when volunteers visit all of the islands and they clear the burrows for the next breeding season. So, do you think we should now go looking for some seals? Our captain is taking us right now towards the islands we know as the Haystack and Longcraig. Now remember, it's always a bit harder to see them the higher the tide. Mortimer's Deep. Now this is a natural haven for the seals. We're free to enjoy the mysteries of the undersea world beneath us now. We humans are not. This is a protected and forbidden area for divers, and that's because there really is treasure here. This really is a place holding many secrets, and one of the biggest secrets has now been discovered. Yes, it lies somewhere beneath us, but they do still keep it a secret. It's a sunken treasure ship. The Blessing of Burnt Island was the ship belonging to King Charles I. It was his baggage ship, but ever since the Great Storm of 1633, the Blessing has laid here, just a wreck on the seabed. All the silver, all the gold, all the treasures from the Royal Stuart dynasty, they were lost beneath the waves here forever. There were silks, there were tapestries, there was also a 280-piece silver dinner service, and it was commissioned by King Henry VIII. It's said that the value of this sunken treasure may run into hundreds of millions of pounds in today's money. They estimate in 1633 the value then was a quarter of all the wealth that Scotland had. The location of the Blessing sold to an American tourist in 1968. It was taken to Arizona and rebuilt there. That in itself is a strange story, but true. However, back here on the 4th, I'd like to share with you another piece of the forgotten past, well before any of the bridges were here. Now John Rennie had a plan, and that was he wanted to build 4 piers along the seafront of South Queensferry. He then wanted to build a further 3
Oh, the last one flew away.
facilitate the boats being able to cross the river in a straight line. They wouldn't need to tack, and regardless of the wind direction, they would be able to dock at any one of the piers. As I stated, a brilliant man, a brilliant plan, but John Rennie, he just wasn't far-sighted enough to realise sailing boats were out. To the surface of the sea, it'll obscure enemy periscopes, making your boat commander fatally confused about his depth. And finally, if many barrels of Enos health salts should be placed in positions on the seabed, when the presence of a U-boat is suspected, the barrels should be opened by remote control by ropes from points ashore, and the vessel will surface involuntarily on a mass of effervescent bubbles. And when this happens, seamen could then. It did carry a great loss of life when she struck the submerged iceberg. However, A very positive result of that terrible accident at sea emerged from a British meteorologist, Lewis Richardson. In the very same year that the Titanic sunk, 1912, Lewis Richardson filed his patent for the hydrophone. His hydrophone was to be used under ships to detect icebergs, landmass and other vessels in dark or foggy conditions, to simply avoid more Titanic-style situations. Here on the Forth, further development during wartime saw hydrophones go into service in arrays, passively hunting submarines from around 1915. Boxcar's Light was a hydrophone point. But here's an oddity. Lewis Richardson invented the hydrophone to provide safety at sea. Did. Cruising is now not just restricted to the mega-rich and wealthy socialites like those of bygone eras. A posh passenger just doesn't exist nowadays. You see, in the past, many ships sailed from these shores to warmer climates. Wealthy passengers around a century or more ago, they could purchase tickets allowing them to choose their cabins. Posh would be an English word to describe someone well-to-do, maybe a bit swanky, well-heeled and speaking with marbles in their mouth. However, not in this. More importantly, he was the designer of the very first Forth Rail Bridge. And I say the first because there are actually two Forth Rail bridges. Whilst building his bridge in 1879, all of a sudden work was ordered to stop. But why? Well, because Botch had previously built the railway bridge over the River Tay. On the 28th of December that year, 1879, there was a ferocious storm. As the Edinburgh steam train was going over the Tay Bridge, the bridge collapsed. The train fell into the river. All 75 passengers were killed. The worst rail disaster in Scottish history. Botch was disgraced. The establishment no longer trusted his designs. In the aftermath of this disaster, the requirements for a bridge over the Forth were reassessed. The railway needed to cross the Forth. Designers was the largest civil engineering structure achieved during the 19th century and probably only made possible by the use of the cantilever principle. Two giant cables, but not all is as it seems. The two giant cables are each binding to 11,000 much smaller cables, and they've been fracturing, and that's part of the problem that instigated the construction of the third bridge. We do still use the Forth Rail Bridge, the middle one. However, it's now on light duty, so it's just buses, taxis and pedestrians. Buses stacked end to end. This bridge has windshielding, so it shouldn't have to close at all due to weather. And even more important, this bridge features a dehumidification system to reduce moisture that causes corrosion. Now that's a valuable lesson learned from the failure of the cables on the old bridge. Lying up in the trees to your right under the new bridge is a rather large old mansion, Admiralty House. Until recently this space. Very much a utopian logic. The Garden City movement went viral around the world. His plans from 1898 became the blueprints for many towns and cities around the world. From here at Rosyth to Tel Aviv to Tokyo, Jakarta to Florence, Vietnam to New Delhi, even Walt Disney's Edinburgh. If you do like Outlander, then that area, well, that's a hotspot of Outlander filming locations. We cruise up by Coures, Lamkilns and Charleston, and then we go around by Blackness Castle.
Oh, hey guys, so we've come to the end of this trip, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the whole journey and the trip with me. It was really lovely. We've got so many lovely views as well. All right, lovely, so stay tuned for further videos and activities. I'll be carrying you guys along. Love you guys so much. sign out from Roots Story.